Hey guys, welcome back to Tough Skin. I am Abby and hi. So basically it's January and I'm basically taking a break from YouTube. So I have these videos pre-uploaded for you guys, so I hope you guys enjoy it. What Tough Skin is, it is a platform for people to come and they can just talk about the hardships that they've been through and what has brought them quote unquote tough skin. It's a Tough Skin podcast. I mean, we are recording. Look, you're famous. We're just gonna start, you know. This is really cool. Zero. Record. So this is more lively.
Some of these blue things.
We're literally ready to be live. Sit down, relax, get a cup of coffee.
Imagine. So that's where my love for cars turned into a business.
Brought you quote unquote tough skin.
That's up to each person. Art is in the eye of the beholder, right?
We met through a photo shoot.
My last name is Guerra. You know, Guerra means war in English.
Tough skin, that's quite an interesting topic.
Live on your Instagram, we're live on my YouTube channel, we're live on Tough Skin. For today's video, welcome back to another podcast on Tough Skin Podcast. What? So basically for today, we are going to be interviewing Mr. War on Instagram. So we are going to interview Mr. War himself. A little backstory on Mr. War. He is a business owner and he basically talks about the ins and out of ministry and also about his testimony and it gets pretty good. So I hope you guys enjoy his story, his podcast, and let's get into it. And also guys, this is going to be an unedited or a little bit edited, we'll see, podcast. Look, you're famous.
Yo, damn.
You're live.
We here at Life Films. Life Films. This message is approved by Life Films.
Hey! In 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, so welcome back. Welcome back to Tough Skin Podcast. I'm your host, Abby, and I'm here with...
Mr. War.
Ooh, this is so exciting because I had a few other interviews, but I'm really excited about this interview because we go way back, you know, Tampa. Tampa is like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But, so I'm here with Mr. War himself, and before we get into his interview, I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about Tough Skin. So Tough Skin basically is a podcast that God put in my heart to start. And it's just a place where people can be free, people can talk about, you know, the hardships that they've been through, that everybody has a story, you know. And I was literally talking to him before we started the podcast, and I'm like, bro, your story is so powerful that so many people are going to be impacted by it, that I was impacted by it. So I wanted you to share your story and, you know, tell us, you know, like, what's Mr. War like, you know?
No, I agree with you. Well, Mr. War is obviously me, you know. It started, it's pretty much defines everything about my life. I started Mr. War because first my last name is Guerra, you know. Guerra means war in English. So yeah, sometimes I get pulled over by the cops and they're always asking me like, oh, you're like War's son? And I'm like, no, it's my last name in English. So yeah, that gets debunked quick. But Mr. War started, it was not something that just started when I felt to start it. Obviously Mr. War wasn't since I was born, but to me, when someone asked me what's Mr. War, it's something that started in my whole life, you know. My name wasn't always, my last name wasn't always Guerra. Actually my real name is Albert Anthony Choriego. You know, it's an ugly last name. No offense to no one.
Oh my gosh.
I just, number one, I don't like the name Anthony, and I thought my last name was just whatever. So I grew up and, you know, never knowing my real dad. And then when I believing that my dad is actually my stepdad. And when I was around middle school, I found out that he wasn't my real dad. I found out that I had a biological father I didn't know. And as I got to know him when I was in high school, so when I found out in middle school that he wasn't my biological father, I wanted to gift him something, which was my name. So what I did was that when I graduated high school, my stepfather, which to me is my real father, he he never graduated high school. So what I did was that I signed adoption papers so I can adopt his name. So now my name is Albert Carlos Guerra, and my real father's name is Carlos Albert Guerra. So what I did was when I graduated with his name attached to mine. So when I could give him the high school ring, it would be a gift to honor him, saying thank you for everything he's done for me, because I wouldn't be the man or the person who I am. I mean, a lot of you don't know who I am because you just listen to my voice, but God has done a lot of things in my life for me, and it was thanks to him, so I did to honor him. I gave him a high school ring, and when I won states in soccer, because I play soccer, for those of you who like soccer, let's come out, let's play.
He loves soccer all the time.
And, so I gave him my state ring as well. I just dedicated everything to him that maybe he didn't get to do because he sacrificed to raise me, Because one, he accepted me, even I wasn't his, and he loved me. He gave me everything. He taught me everything. He treated me like his own. And I think that's a part of who I am because, God has, through that, he has taught me unconditional love. So obviously, Jesus is the primary example of that, but through my father, he's taught me that. So Mr. War started there when I changed my name and I dedicated it to him. And I think War kind of goes with me too because my character is very confrontational. Not that I go around and try to fight people or I'm road rage in Miami, honking horns and bashing windows.
Yes.
But,
completely.
I'm very, I would say, like bold and confrontational, and I'm not scared to talk about stuff or point something out, or like nowadays where people are doing subtweets and shade on Instagram.
The tea.
Or the tea. So I'm not about that life, man. Like if there's a problem, I'll call you. If there's something that's just gonna help you as a friend, I'm just gonna tell you straight up. You can ask some of my friends. When they stink or when the game is slacking, I'll tell them right away. So you know who you are. I love you. And stuff like that. So that's how Mr. War started, and now I'm just carrying it on, trying to influence people in soccer and cars because I'm a huge car enthusiast. If you see a red M4, well, technically an orange M4 in Miami that has the license plate saying Mr. War, that's clearly me. And and also in business. So I love business, I love soccer, I love God, and I love people. So that's how Mr. War kind of started.
Wow, that's so exciting. Yes, when you started business and you started ministry, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been known as a little hustler. I think I get it because I'm a mutt. I'm kind of like raised by a Colombian, but I have Puerto Rican in my blood. So, we always looking for the best deals and we're always looking to sell things. So,
honestly,
obviously I don't want to live the narco life, but I believe, I just have this ambition, man. I've always had it when I was young. I'll give you some stories I'm not so proud of. When I was in middle school, I used to steal highlighters, and I used to turn them into pipes for people to smoke weed from.
No
and
way.
I used to sell them for $5 to $10. I used to sell candy. The thing is, my parents both worked really early, so I used to get dropped off at school like at 6 a.m. You
had lots of time on your hands.
not even janitors were there yet. So I used to go to Publix. I used to walk around school, and I used to go to Publix, and I used to steal Jolly Ranchers and the lollipops. That's when they were popping. There was a drink called Balls that was like blue, and everybody used to want them. I used to steal all that stuff, and I used to sell it. Obviously, the point is not to promote stealing, but it was the fact that, I just had all this ambition to make money, So I used to make, good money. And then also, too, when I was in high school and middle school, my parents, they did well, but in the beginning they struggled, so they didn't really have money to give me lunch money. So, you steal lunch or you buy lunch, So that I think it started all there, and then I realized that I can just do anything. I can sell whatever, and then it turned into shoes, it turned into a bunch of stuff. And then I got an opportunity to go to Gulliver for soccer, and to me that was like a gold mine. Everybody there is wealthy. School's $35,000 a year from kindergarten to 12th grade. So,
Wow.
So imagine. So that's where my love for cars turned into a business. And I used to these kids, they had money and they never wanted to go to the stores. They didn't know who to trust. So they used to just give me their cars and be like, hey, I want A, B, C, D. Can you just get it done for me? And I used to, after school, I used to go and meet relationships with shops and be like, yo, look, I was a little kid in high school, but yo, I promise you I'll bring you X amount of cars, X amount of business. You give me X amount of discount and let me make my money.
And you just knew it. You weren't taught any of this.
No, I learned it on my own. I mean, there's passion for my real dad. He's obsessed with cars. My mom used to race cars, like street racing.
Some bloodline.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know, like they didn't put me in the atmosphere, but it was just something so natural. I used to build die-cast cars and put speakers inside of them and listen to my music through the cars, not through my headphones.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so from there I just loved cars and I just knew it already. So I started doing a service for these guys, and then someone told me one day, like, yo man, like, you're so good with your customers, why don't you start a business? And I started working with a couple companies just to learn certain things about business so I wouldn't bring those mistakes into my business.
Yeah, true.
And then and that's it. Now I have a business. I do cars and I love cars, and you know, no matter what I do, I'll never abandon that area of cars, and now I help my dad with his business too, and we're getting to more new businesses. And you know, businesses is where I'll tell you this, if you're listening right now and you want to do a business, man, let me tell you something. Money is the least of your worries. You can get money. There's investors. There's people with money, bro. Money is not even an issue. The issue is, if do you believe in yourself enough to do it? You know, if God gives you a vision, or you yourself have a vision, a passion, that you're willing to do it, man. You know, I remember one day a preacher said one day, the wealthiest place in the world is the grave. You know, there's books that haven't been written, dreams that haven't come to pass, inventions that never were made, and if you're somebody listening right now and you want to do a business, you have a vision, you have a passion, well, believe me, man, money's not the issue. Bringing it to life is not the issue. Is that if you believe in yourself and what is in you to bring it to life, to do it, man. Because there's people that will give you money, man. There's money everywhere. Money's not the issue. Everyone thinks it's money. Oh, I don't have money. And bro, believe me, there's people that have money that are willing to put it into anything. So, bro, talk to business people. I bet you talk to any business person, they'll tell you, yeah, I've tried to do 3 businesses before, bro.
Me
Yeah.
trying.
And each person that's tried to do business, they lost money. But you know, every failure comes with an opportunity for victory, man. So if you're listening, man, just go for it, man. And if you need money, I won't give you my money, but I'll connect you with people with money. So yeah, I mean, that's how the business started. That's how the business side started. You know, obviously through business there's hardships.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, there's a lot of trials of you selling something or telling people how this vision is gonna work, this dream is gonna work, this product is gonna work, and bro, there's gonna be times where you're supposed to be winning, you're losing, you know, and that happened to a lot of people, you know. I'm not trying to get too spiritual here, but you know, I just relate a lot of things to the Bible, you know, like King David was probably one of the greatest kings in the world, but there were many times where he was known to be king, but yet he would fail, you know, and in those moments he had to believe what God gave him, and it was worth it, you know. And if you have ideas, if you have plans, you have visions, you have products, just because it didn't work one way don't mean it won't work. So hardships, biggest hardship is faith, man. Believe in yourself, do it. I've been in times where I've been losing, that I thought the car stuff wasn't for me. I thought helping my dad wasn't for me. I thought that I wasn't a good enough businessman because of certain failures. But bro, that's just part of it, man. That's if you want to have something long, you need to. You know what, man? If you want to get married, you better learn how to do a business, bro. Because if you can't keep a business going, then I don't know how you're gonna keep a wife going. So, you know, I'll tell you straight up. You know, obviously they're kind of different, obviously, but you know, but commitment and endurance and patience and faith and forgiveness and working together, it takes, man. You know, so I believe one of the biggest hardships is believing, and also the people that are doing the vision or the business with you, to make them believe with you. You know, that's, to me, that was hard, and thank God that it was able to come through, you know. So
wow, that's awesome. And like, I guess even in that point, you know, and then we'll go more into ministry stuff, but how, like, going through those hardships, how did it bring you tough skin? Like, how did it mature you and shape you into the businessman that you are today?
Let's do it like in a natural way, you know. Like, have you ever seen like kids, like when they train, they you know, punching bags or fighting? Every time you get hit, the skin will adapt itself to adjust to that type of, you know, strength, you know, that type of beat. Just like muscles, when you work out, the reason why you're sore is because the old muscles are tearing, and then when they grow back, they grow tougher. And I think that's just part of life, man. When you go to business or you go do anything, you have to take the hits, and every hit that you hit is just, it's not so much the pain, but it's so much the fact that when you recover, you're gonna recover stronger. And you need to know that, you know. So when you take a hit, just be excited for the recovery, you know, because that means you're just gonna be, those hits will never hit you the same way as before, you know. Like, I'll tell you this, the first time I ever started a business and I lost money, you know, when I lost my first $100, I was like, man, my life is over, you know.
Oh yeah.
Now, you know, I'm not saying that I'm looking forward to losing money, but $100 doesn't even faze me anymore, you know, and that's because I know $100 can be brought back in a heartbeat, you know. You realize that, you know, like for example, if I were to give some of you guys $1,000 that you live at home, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm gonna go buy stuff. But you don't realize that your parents pay thousands of dollars a month, and that's all to expenses, not even for them to go eat, buy shoes, pay, you know, buy vacation, and you realize that $1,000 is really nothing, man. So, you know, I think through taking the hits and coming out of them, I've been able to acquire tough skin, you know, in business at least. Yeah.
Oof! Wow, that's no, because like I've even seen you're really one of the most hardworking person I've seen, you know, through your Instagram and like through like your stories and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just awesome to see that and to, you know, have someone in ministry that loves God as much as, you know, we do. And how is it, you know, balancing business and ministry together? You know, I guess you can talk about in ministry, like what are some of like the things, not the tea, but like what is some things that people don't know? Because, you know, even me, I've been in ministry about 8-9 years and I've seen the good, bad, and ugly. But I remember when you were in Tampa and you were talking to us on the way back, and you were just saying, oh, this is what I've been through, these are the situations that I've gone through. It really brought me back to a place of, wow, if he can go through all of this and still come back stronger than ever, then I can too. Then what is my dealing with? Oh, I got hurt by this person in church, you know, I got offended, you know. What are, I guess, like, tell us. I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll do first, I guess I'll speak about the balancing. I believe, man, at the end of the day, like everybody has to learn to balance, you know, and you have to understand when you're a kid, the first thing you learn is school, and then you learn finances, then you learn, you know, first you learn to take care of yourself, because obviously life is going to bring you to a point where you have to take care of others. So to me, man, the best thing I can tell anybody about balance is priority. I think whatever is your priority, you'll make time for it. I love talking to people, and I love it when they get to talk to me and they tell me I don't have time. I'm like, man, let me give you my schedule and let's see if you talk about time, you know.
Yes.
And I think there's time, bro. People are like, oh, there's not enough hours in a day, which is true, you know. We all wish we can add more, but the truth is you've been living your life for how long in 24 hours? So if you haven't gotten it together how to manage 24 hours yet, then you're behind already, you know. So I believe that it's your priorities, man. If God is your priority, if business is your priority, if helping others is your priority, if your family is your priority, you'll make time for all of it. Bro, you know what's funny is that everyone says that there's not enough time in the day, but the truth is you're waking up at 10:30 o'clock. You know, you're going to bed at times where nothing's really happening. You're investing your time going to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning. What's really happening at 3 or 4 in the morning? You can't work at 3 or 4 in the morning. You know, you can't clock in at your job at 3 or 4 in the morning. You can't, you know, just spend time with your family at 3 or 4 in the morning. Everybody's sleeping, you know, like. So I think if you have your priorities right and you manage your time right, when to do things and when not to do things, you'll be fine, man. You know, there's people that are way busier than us, you know, and there's people that are older than both of us combined, and they're up earlier than us, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, I'll take some shots at some of the people that are doing the walk of Christ, you know, like, you know, they'll say, oh, you know, I don't have time for this and that, and the truth is, man, these people don't even get up early in the morning to see God, you know, let's be real, you know, like, you talk about you're too busy with work, then, you know, you don't work 24 hours, so what about the time that you're not working? You know, you're sleeping, you're eating, you're chilling with your friends, you're working out. You know, and I have nothing against those things, but the truth is, if God was really a priority, you'd give him time that was probably sacrificial, you know. You would make time, you would do time, you know, and same thing with family, man. One thing I don't like about people that are too busy is that they never make time for family. And, you know, how is it that your family raised you and yet we make no time for family? You know?
Yeah.
So
that's so true.
You know, balance, I think, is just priority, man. I have a family, and you know, my family, like, you go in my house and everyone always gets impacted when they come to my home, because I can say that we're a family that truly love each other, and we're a family that truly all want the best. You know, you go into my house and you'll never find anybody in the rooms. Everybody's in the living room, everybody's in the kitchen, everybody's talking, before everyone leaves, they say hi, I love you, hugs, and when they leave, hi, I love you, hugs. You know, it's just like, someone gets in a fight, 5 minutes later, it's like it never existed. You know, we practice love, we live love, and I think that if you don't make that a priority, you'll never see it in your life. You know, and I think people are just too selfish. You know, so just be selfless.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a priority, because it even says, what is it? It's like God family than ministry
Church.
because sometimes we put ministry before God. And I remember there was times when I was at church Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all over again. And even my sister would tell me, she would say, you never spend time with the family. Spend time with the family. And when I started to make it a priority, then it started making her see, wow, you know, she's actually doing something with God. When I spend time with her, she doesn't drink, she doesn't do this, she doesn't, you know, seek after guys, you know, that she sees something different in me. And then she sees me and she goes, wow, you're really different. And I'm like, yeah, God changed me, you know?
No, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Man. How do we expect for people to know what's going on in our life if we're too busy not showing it, you know? And like you said, when you spend time with them, there's a shift in her life, you know, that she needs. And so I think, yeah, man, I think it's priority. I think if you're in church, I mean, there's nothing wrong with church. Church is a blessing. My church, our church, man, has really blessed my life. It's changed my family. I can tell you today that many things in my life that have happened are thankful because of that church. You know, I'll give you some quick little pinpoints of my life. My grandma was a witch. She believed in Santeria. She believed in a lot of stuff, and you know, she got saved. And when she got saved, she wanted her whole family to get saved. So my mom was going through a really bad marriage with my stepdad. There was a point in her life where they were about to get divorced, and you know, God intervened and restored that marriage. And bro, they look like little kids now, you know, like they're straight, like they play tag with each other. And I'm like, yo, you guys are too old for this crap, you know. But
So cute.
they look like little kids when I go home now. And you would think, yo, there was never a chance in my life I would have thought that they would have loved each other more, you know. And God restored that marriage. God restored our relationships. You know, God sent me to California to meet my real dad and forgive him. And now he has Christ and he's not an alcoholic anymore.
Wow.
You know, like God has done so much, man. And I believe people put him such in a box that it's not so much about like Sundays. It's not so much about a book, you know. It's about the living God and what he can do for you. So, you know, I think, you know, I kind of losing my train of thought right
It's
now.
okay.
But,
No.
but yeah, you know.
we talk, we trust. I can.
But I think, you know, I think that's important. So I think, yeah, like if you go to church and stuff, that's fine. But have balance, spend time with your family, and spend time with God, you know, definitely, you know. So, but I believe you asked me as well some hardships in ministry, right?
Yeah, like I guess tell me and tell them, you know, what are some things that you've been through, you know, I guess kind of in the aspect of, what was it, that since you've been in ministry so long and then you dealt with, not fake people, but you dealt with people that you see the real sides of people. Because, you know, when being in church and loving people at church, and people go to church and they're like, yeah, everybody's so loving, everybody's perfect, they're walking on, you know, high clouds of the Holy Spirit, and and we think that that's how it is. And then boom, you see people kissing butt to leaders, you see people, you know, trying to do things not godly, and you see secret sin. We're just exposing everything, honestly, but you know, things like that. And how can someone, you know, in ministry, that's been in ministry for a long time, that is going through that stuff, or you know, or those people that want change but they don't know how is it that they can. And I know through your story it'll be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I came to God, I got, you know, God had to work with me because I'm stubborn, because I'm Puerto Rican. So, you know, it took a couple of things for God to really get me to commit my life to Him. And when I got in ministry, I will say my first 3 years in just going to church and serving God, my life was really transformed. But that's because I knew that the number one thing was for me to really anchor Him in my life. You know, I didn't try to preach it to nobody. I didn't try to do anything. I mean, obviously I invited people, but I really knew that if I wanted this for real, I needed to anchor myself. So what I mean by anchor myself, as in like, I needed to anchor Him so much that no matter what I saw, no matter what I experienced, no matter what was told to me, no matter what people did, God wouldn't suffer for someone else. And what I mean by that is that if God is my all and everything and my number one, how can a person who hurts me or offends me or betrays me, how can God pay the price for someone else's actions, you know? And once I learned that anchoring in my life, you know, I was able to jump into ministry, you know, because the truth is, man, like, people who come to church and they think that everything's gonna be perfect, then you don't know the Bible. You don't know the God that we're trying to worship, because the reason why he came was because we will never be perfect, man. You know, anywhere you go in life. I love when people just talk about church. It's not only church, man, and your friends, your cliques, your circles, your school, your jobs. And people are gonna offend you. People are gonna betray you. People are gonna throw you on the bus. And when people come to God, it's like it's not supposed to happen.
Everything's perfect.
Everybody's man. Nothing changed. They just go to church and now they're asking God to help them with the same flaws they had before they came to church. You know, so it's like, you know, everybody has pride in them. Everybody has betrayal in them. Everybody has a price that they're willing to betray somebody or gain something. And the only difference is when we come to God is that we're asking Him to help us in those areas and make us less vulnerable to those things, you know. And you're gonna find it, bro. There's some people that they were one way in the world. They're gonna be the same way with God. The difference is they're just gonna use God's name in vain, you know. And that's the difference. But I've grown in ministry, and I've made my personal mistakes. And I think the best thing about when you make your mistakes is that God reminds you that you need Him. Mm-hmm. And when people make mistakes, it's another reminder that you need Him. And I've made really bad mistakes in my walk, and that cost me a lot. And in those moments, you know, like of my own mistakes, we're quick to want people to have mercy and love us, and for us not to be accountable for what we did. And I think because I was accountable for what I did, it helped me understand and foresee people's flaws when I needed help, you know, because there were times where I needed help and I was on the floor and I'd fallen into certain things that I should have never done, and I came out and I wanted people just to lift me up, and some people didn't. Some people weren't there for me. Some people, when they found out, they kind of looked at me like if I was, you know, dirty, if I wasn't good enough, and thank God there were like a few handful of people that really cared, man, that really were used by the heart of God. But there were a lot of people that I was there for them when they were in the dirt and they weren't there for me. But that doesn't change God. That will never change God. That's why I was never able to leave church. That's why I was never able to stop praying, stop seeking Him, and stop loving Him. Yeah, maybe I wasn't doing other things like preaching and doing stuff, but that didn't stop me from seeking Him. Bro, if David can get his best friend killed, if David could sleep with that man's wife, and still be used and be a king, bro, how much more could I be used even when I made my mistake if I just went to God and repented and still loved Him, you know? You know, like there's stories in the Bible of people that have gone through worse than us and they're still served and loved God. So who am I to be here and complain, you know? So I believe that in the hardships of me being persecuted, of me being judged, of me being gossiped about, of me making my mistakes, of me falling, of me doing all those things, bro, I knew God's love, man, so I didn't give a crap who hurt. Bro, you hurt? Good. Now you can see God working in me, you know, because it sucks to know that people are in church and they're scared to tell people that they're falling. They're scared to tell people that they're struggling. And I believe there's a lot of people like that. The reason why they don't want to go to church is because not because they don't believe in God, is they don't want to get judged. And I believe that that's not the heart of God, man. You know, the heart of God was to come and get you and clean you up, and His will and His desires to see the most of His plan fulfill in your life. And that was the thing I had in my head the whole time, bro. I know God loves me, and I know He wants to heal me. He wants to restore me. He wants to lift me up. Why? Because if I'm going through this, it's not because God chose me to go through sin. You know, if I sin, it's because I chose to sin. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You know, people out here saying, no, my hardships are because God wants me to go through my heart. No, God is so good that through your hardships, He'll still glorify Himself, you know?
That's so true.
And let's get that right, you know? Because people out here saying I fell in sin and oh no, the leaders don't love me. Bro, listen, you brought this persecution to yourself. You opened these doors yourself. Listen, be real. I sinned. God help me, restore me, and bring me back to where I am so I can help other people that are going through what I went through, you know? So I think the hardships, man, I went through a lot, man. I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. I was really hurt by people. But God can't suffer because of that, man. God will not suffer because of that. God won't. In other words, a man does not dictate my relationship with God. You know, God will be God forever. If someone hurts me, if someone leaves my life, if someone walks out on me, if somebody, bro, if the person I look up to the most tomorrow walks out of church and says God is fake, no, man, that won't even move me because I know who God is. You know, so I believe that, bro. We gotta be real, man. I can tell you, you know what? We'll even get real. I know mad people who left our church, and the truth is they left church because when they sinned, they didn't get what they wanted. Bro, you sinned, dude. Stop gossiping about church. Stop gossiping about leaders. Stop gossiping about people and be real. And the truth is that, you know, you fell and it is what it is, man. Like, those are the repercussions, bro. Like, let's just get up. We'll help you. We'll love you. And we're here to see you manifest God, bro, and let Him do it, you know? So I was able to get up because I was real. you know, and it was real pain. It was real suffering. It was hard, man. I'm not here to say, oh, I'm some warrior, bro. It was hard, man. You know, like, I was really hurt, but you know what? God's love maintained me and he sustained me. And guess what, man? Because I didn't leave and because I didn't do what everybody does and go back to the world and go back to my sins and go back. But you want to know something? When I came back, God was able to show people that his love was really real because I didn't temporarily feel some hype. It's sad to see people that were great, that did greater things than myself, bro. People that have bigger houses of peace, people that were more better, is not a real word, but they were, you know, better evangelists than me,
Yeah.
you know, and things they did better than me because I'm not the greatest thing in the world, and to see them go back onto what everything God did with them because they sinned and they don't even know how to come back, you know, and the truth is that you just have to come back, man. There's a home for you, you know, and I know there's a lot of people that they don't feel like they have a home, and bro, believe me, his presence is your home.
So, what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about this podcast. If you guys like Albert, Mr. War's story, give it a big thumbs up, like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on all social media, it'll be linked down below. Follow Mr. War on Instagram and Jesus_tookover. His links will be down below, so make sure to follow him on all social media. Follow Tough Skin Podcast on their Instagram at toughskin_podcast. Favorite and give our podcast a good old great review and on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all other podcasting social media platforms. So I hope you guys enjoy it and I hope you guys like this series. I'm really enjoying it, so I hope you guys do too. Love you guys. I'll see you guys next week for our next podcast. Bye guys. God bless you.